Good morning, and I would like to say a warm welcome to you, Sandeep. Thank you for joining us this morning for our discussion around advanced analytics. Data, data, data. That's sort of the word on the street in terms of our focus as large enterprise organizations. And we're very excited to be talking to you as you've recently taken on a new role within Infor as the Senior Director of Decision Analytics and Science. A lot of our conversation today will be focused around sort of the importance of data, how you actually embrace analytics within an organization, especially as part of a growing platform within many businesses. So our talk today will be around the pressing challenges at an enterprise level that you, Sandeep, and your organization are facing, and hopefully get some tips and ideas on how to remedy some of those challenges. So once again, welcome and thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Monika, for the opportunity to talk about my favorite topic, and nice to see you again.
Nice to see you as well. I'd like to hand it off to you just to provide our audience with an overview of your background and the great career that you've had at Infor and your new role as sort of the analytics czar within the organization.
Thank you for that nice compliment. My career has been working through advanced analytical solutions, worked towards wireless optimization, moved towards retail planning, analysis and optimization, and now working on a broader role around machine learning and decision science enablement for Infor-centric customers. It's been a long journey, a fun journey, and as the technology evolves, a pretty interesting and fulfilling career challenge in trying to provide value to the customers where they see the most impact. So my team does all the hard work, and I take the credit for it, like you would expect. And so they have all the right roles and the right background in performing all this great work, and I just take credit for all of it.
Well, I would expect nothing less. Actually, I would say the opposite. And having worked with you over the last few years, I think you usually enable and give most of the credit to your team. So it's one of the things I've admired about getting to know you in the last 2 to 3 years.
Thank you.
So Sandeep, tell me what sort of drove Infor to embrace advanced analytics as they have. It's no small decision to appoint an internal stakeholder whose whole mission it is to drive an adoption of analytics within the organization. So what's driving Infor in this decision and focus?
And I think that I think that we have lots of stakeholders that work and perform this function. It's a natural transition from a industry-centric, customer-centric ERP software provider to focus on enhanced analytics. And Infor actually has been doing this for many, many years. As we move from on-premise to cloud, some of the enablement has just naturally come as part of that evolution as we accelerate the digitization of our customers towards more enterprise assets in the cloud, leveraging the power of technology that allows you to make instantaneous decisions. It's been a natural progression as we go towards modernization of our customer base, right? We still have lots of customers that are working towards the challenges of what that transformation is, and it's just a natural, I think, enhancement to the value offering we can provide them, just to make their lives easier, right? And I think ultimately Infor is doing it to make the lives of our customers better, and so I think of it as a natural progression, and just part of what COVID has done to the economy. You're seeing that transformation accelerate in the last couple of quarters at a scale that we thought would take longer. Mm-hmm. So happy to be in this industry, happy to provide that value to the customers.
So you probably have the most significant or wide vantage point in terms of challenges for the adoption of analytics. I can imagine there's concerns about data. Do you have enough data? Is the data accurate, clean? How do you aggregate it so that you can make business decisions and feel confident that it's based on good data? What are some of the challenges that you're seeing around that with not only internal to your organization, but with your end clients?
Yeah, and it's a very, very important question. I think that when you think of the type of engagements of customers that are are struggling with this type of issue. You have the customers who want to do this, but are feeling overwhelmed by what is in the market, what you read up online and blogs and websites about the scale of innovation some of the cloud providers are going through. So you have those are the apprehensive type of consumer, and then you have the consumer who is the kind of doubtful that, hey, this is all great, but I know my business, and I'm pretty sure that there isn't a machine learning model that's going to be able to help me out with it because, we don't actually have as much focus on this data that we should. We want to, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's be pragmatic. Let's focus on the bottom line, right? And so the reason those two types of consumers are very important is that they actually have the same problem. They both realize that the value is there. They both realize or feel like maybe that they are not ready for that jump. And ultimately, it is a jump in changing the mindset, because you shouldn't be looking at it from a data perspective. You should look at it from a value perspective. And so we try to bring the customer towards the, what is really the problem, or what is the solution you want? Are you looking at maybe a market share loss that you want to try to improve? Are you looking at improving operational efficiency? Are you looking to improve the safety in your organization, right? You have to not look at it from a technology perspective or a divide of, do I have the perfect data? Because, there isn't any such thing. And if you have the perfect data, you're probably not innovating, because from a data science perspective, that means that you have a flat line, right? In which no one in the business wants. So I like to think of it as, let's not talk about data. Let's talk about what is your business or what is your business problem, and how do you want to solve it? How do you want to track for it? And then let us work together to make that happen.
Mm. Do you sense or see resistance at different levels in the organization as you engage on this journey of leveraging data to make data-driven decisions within an organization?
Yes, and it's very healthy resistance. So I think that for enablement to be successful, you need to know what are you trying to get as a value. You need to be a natural skeptic, and so I think that the resistance we type of see is at the different levels of ownership, right? So you think of what's the resistance to transformation at the executive level, and they have, am I going to make money out of it? What's my ROI in terms of the investment? For middle management, it's about quarter goals. How does it align to my short-term goals, my midterm goals? How are we going to actually make benefit case out of it? Are you picking the right partnership, right? And then from a management perspective, or from an IT management perspective around, am I going to make money out of it? Am I profitable in this engagement? Is data science too expensive and too nebulous? Am I using the right technology, right? And so it's very interesting when you talk about resistance, because of those levels that you have to work through and engage and challenge and partner with, like any other software project, as you can imagine, right? So yeah. The analogy is with any software, same challenges, same thing with data. The only difference is that it's not a software application that you turn the light on. It's mostly around showcasing the value and bringing them along for the journey, because that is what it is. It's a journey.
Do you see that as companies embark on leveraging data science, machine learning, analytics in general, that there's additional skill sets they need to acquire within their organizations to enable those capabilities? And is it possible to retool existing talent into those spheres of data science?
And I think that's an important question, because it also touches on a psychological fear that what is this going to do for me? Is it going to replace me, right? I think there's a lot of people associate the whole concept of automation as a challenge, as a kind of a competition for your job, and we don't think of it that way, because I think if you look at it, ultimately decision science, that's why we call our group decision science, is not driven by, we can build you excellent models. We can, but that's not that important, because it's never about the excellent models. It's about how can we enrich the life of the user of the model, the manager who's in charge of a business problem that needs to be solved based on this model. We look at it as an enriching activity. We don't want to think of it as a replacement activity, because ultimately, I don't want to trust an automatic driver of my car just yet. I will never allow that, and we don't expect that consumers and businesses to do that. I think that in some cases, any good business wants to enrich their data to make better business decisions, so they can make money, they can make more margin or be more efficient. And if you cannot use your existing workforce and make them better with more insight, then I think you are probably missing out on some opportunity, right? Because ultimately success is driven by the people in your company and the vision you have. And I think we'd like to make sure that their life is enriched by it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes great sense. And to me, it seems as though companies can use the capabilities of data science as recruiting techniques to attract talent, not only that's already knowledgeable about data science techniques, but aspire to go into that area. I've seen some really great transitions from even really talented software engineers that have retooled, studied, certification, enable them to move into more machine learning data science. So being able to provide that career path within an organization is great for retaining and engaging, top talent as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I think one thing to note is my team's made up of smart scientists and PhDs, but it's also made up of data engineers who connect the ever important pipelines that make these models materialize. It's composed of data analysts and business experts, we call them product data managers, who come in and work with consumers of the results of the models and say, how is your life going to be impacted by it? What are the business processes that need to be enriched, augmented? And so, when you think of data science and, everyone goes down to data scientists, I think, there's a need for a lot more variety of skill sets, and technical and non-technical, to make it successful. And they're all very important for adoption, enablement, change management, right? So I want to call that out as well.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So Sandeep, for companies maybe not quite as mature as Infor in their leverage of data analytics and data science, how would you advise a company that's just starting their journey in this area? What's sort of the first building blocks to begin to think about and implement?
Yes, and I think that I think you're the lucky ones because you're starting, which is the most fun part to be at. I think that, and this is how we operate with our customers. We focus on three pillars: agility, innovation, but innovation towards being customer centric, or in your case, focus towards what your goals are, and value. And I think that ultimately you can get an army of data scientists if you want, and you will in the long run. All your end users will become minors in data science as you enable yourself to be highly analytical. But you want to be quick and deterministic in terms of how you want to engage these projects. Never lose sight of it that it is a project. As projects go, you need to have a scope, budget, realized value, a stakeholder, right? So you need to think of it from an agile mindset. You need to basically think of it as what am I trying to build towards, right? It's where your innovation comes in. You're making changes to your business, right? And how are the stakeholders impacted? And from a value perspective, it's always about, are you going to make more money? How much? Are you going to be more efficient? How much? Or are you going to make the life of your resources better? Are you looking at efficiency or troubleshooting some assets and making sure they are going to last longer or be more effective? So you've got to have to think about it from a very, very empirical way. I need to be able to achieve X. I'm okay if I achieve 10% of X, but I need to get towards measuring the X and then goal of achieving towards it. And if you are a small organization, you start that way. That is how you will be a successful organization.
Fair enough. And as you guys have matured as in Infor, at your maturity level, I'm sure there's continued challenges. I'm assuming not every day is as sunshine and roses. For more mature organizations, what can they anticipate in terms of, pain points, challenges, things to think about as they continue down their data science, data analytics journey?
Yeah, and I think that I think there are different. The philosophy of an organization is an important piece of driver for flowing through this journey of data analytics. And so it's always important to have that vision of innovation. You want to start from the top down, where you want to promote disruption and innovation and change as a positive factor. Because as you learn more, you're going to start trying to reassess some of the assumptions you've made in terms of what is the right path for your supply chain, because you have more visibility. As you learn more, you're going to start seeing interactions between departments, correlation, causation, but there is going to be moments where departments need to start working together, talking together, seeing the same information, and then acting on it. And maybe not in a unified manner, but with the same version of the truth. That takes courage in some cases, but almost it's a patient evolution towards a greater union of your parts in a sort. So I think you want to make sure you're, you over time you'll be ready for it, and you need to make sure you have the right data governance and definitions of some of those models. But I don't think it's a secret sauce, and there are many ways to make this happen. But the journey is more important. You'll never get to the destination of perfect nirvana, but I'm assuming that everyone enjoys the path of discovery.
I hope so, because you're right. If you end the journey, then there's still a lot you're probably missing out on in terms of improvements and optimization.
Yes.
Maybe just to sum this up, tell us about the great work that Infor is doing in this space from a technology perspective, because we've talked about people, right, and the importance of that. We've talked about process. We haven't talked much about technology. Curious what Infor is doing in this space, and if there's other technologies that our viewers should be considering and thinking about as well.
Yeah, and I think that so Infor is one of the innovative partners when it comes to maturity of some of what I've been discussing. And I think from a technology perspective, Infor is well placed with industry-centric content, right? We have large different varieties of software assets that are helping customers with very, very specific industry content. And part of what the philosophy Infor has is that how can we make their lives better, help them see insights better. And so what we are doing from a technology perspective is leveraging our experience with industry-centric content, our knowledge of our customers, a knowledge and appreciation of the data, the architecture, and the platform it needs that we need to have to take advantage of it, to try to streamline the ROI that's very important to our end users, right? And so we want to focus on kind of bringing analytics to the masses, in which case the masses is all our different customers in different industries.
That's wonderful. I've gotten to see firsthand some of the great products that you and your company bring into the marketplace. And it's been really great pleasure for us to work with you guys as partners for Infor, and working with you specifically, Sandeep.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank you for your time and all of the insights that you've provided. I think we've gotten a good idea of how you approach advanced analytics adoption within Infor, and hopefully it's provided some nuggets of wisdom for our audience as well. Sandeep, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, you too.